Old Navy's parent company has spent 2 decades perfecting something the premium fashion industry hoped no one would ever measure item by item, dollar by dollar, wash cycle by wash cycle. That comparison is now impossible to ignore. 13 Old Navy staples sitting on shelves and racks across the country right now are not simply cheaper substitutes for the labels dominating your Instagram feed and your closet's price tags. They are, in wear test after wear test, holding their own against brands charging 4, 6, sometimes 10 times the price for what turns out to be a remarkably similar garment. We're starting with number 13, a basic so ordinary most people never think to question its price at all until they see what the alternative actually costs. 13. The Old Navy crewneck tee. Brands like Everlane and American Apparel built entire cult followings on the promise of the perfect cotton tee, often priced between $20 and $35 for a single shirt. Old Navy's basic crewneck uses a comparable mid-weight cotton blend, a similar tailored or relaxed cut depending on the line, and a similar finish, at roughly a sixth of that price. Shoppers who have run both through a year of regular washing report that the Old Navy version holds its shape, its color, and its neckline about as well as the premium alternative. For anyone who buys tees in multiples rather than as a single considered purchase, the annual cost difference is not small. 12. Old Navy's Power Soft Leggings. Lululemon's Align line is arguably the most recognized premium legging on the market, prized for a soft, second skin feel that justifies a price tag well over $100. Old Navy built its Power Soft fabric specifically to chase that same sensation, and reviewers who have tried both back-to-back consistently describe the hand feel and stretch recovery as remarkably close, at a small fraction of the price. The waistband doesn't always behave quite as precisely through an hour of hot yoga, but for daily errands, travel, or casual movement, the gap $100 price tag is supposed to justify becomes difficult to actually feel on the body. 11. Old Navy flannel shirts. LL Bean has spent generations turning heavyweight flannel into a heritage product, and its durability reputation is genuinely earned. Old Navy's flannel, cut from a similar brushed cotton weave, has quietly become a cold-weather staple that shoppers describe as surviving repeated wash cycles without the fabric thinning the way cheaper synthetic blends typically do. It will not outlast a bean flannel across a decade of hard outdoor use, but for a shirt worn regularly through a single season, the price-to-wear life math rarely favors the premium label. 10. The Old Navy Puffer Jacket. Outdoor specialty brands built premium tiers around recycled fill power ratings and technical shell fabrics, and for genuine alpine conditions that engineering earns its price. But for an ordinary winter commute, Old Navy's puffer uses a comparable synthetic insulation and a water-resistant shell that shoppers routinely describe as warm enough for daily winter use, at a price that lets a jacket be replaced every couple of seasons instead of financially locking someone into a single premium coat out of necessity. 9. Old Navy cardigans. J.Crew popularized the cotton and cashmere blend cardigan as a closet staple worth paying extra for. Old Navy's cardigan line, particularly its cotton and cotton blend versions, mirrors that same silhouette and drape closely. Style writers doing direct side-by-side comparisons have noted that stitching and button quality on Old Navy's cardigans have improved noticeably over recent years, closing a gap that used to be far more obvious in person than in any photo. 8. Old Navy swimwear. Premium swim brands charge heavily for suits built around a single, flattering cut and quick-dry technical fabric. Old Navy's swimwear uses similar quick-dry blends while offering an unusually broad range of cuts and sizes, something shoppers frequently say solves the real problem better than one premium cut ever could. Fit range, more than fabric innovation, is what keeps coming up as the actual differentiator in reviews. 7. Old Navy's denim jacket. The classic trucker silhouette, made iconic and expensive by heritage denim brands, is one of the most imitated jackets in American fashion. Old Navy's version uses a comparable mid-weight denim and a nearly identical cut. Long-term wear reports describe the jacket softening and fading in a way that closely mimics the broken-in look premium brands charge extra to fake through artificial pre-distressing. 6. Old Navy's straight and wide-leg jeans. Premium denim brands built their pricing around raw or selvage fabric claims and small batch construction. Old Navy's jeans are produced at a larger industrial scale, but fit consistency across sizes has become one of the most frequently praised aspects of the brand, with shoppers noting they no longer need to try 3 sizes to find the fit. A pricier pair delivers on the first attempt. 5. Old Navy's cotton and cotton blend crewneck sweaters. Premium knitwear brands lean hard on the word cashmere to justify triple-digit prices, even when actual cashmere content is a small minority of the yarn blend. Old Navy is upfront that its sweaters are cotton or acrylic blends, rather than dressing up a marginal cashmere percentage as a luxury claim. And shoppers who value honest labeling over prestige language consistently say they prefer that transparency. 4. Old Navy pajama sets. Specialty sleepwear brands built an entire premium category around buttery soft loungewear, often modal-based, priced as though pajamas were outerwear. Old Navy's pajama sets use similarly soft-touch fabrics at a fraction of the cost, and because sleepwear goes through heavy weekly wash cycles, the value gap compounds with every load of laundry rather than shrinking with time. 3. Old Navy's chino and work pants. Dockers built its identity on the affordable, professional khaki and owned that category for years. Old Navy's chino line, particularly its stretch and tailored fits, draws consistent praise in comparisons for holding a crease and resisting wrinkles nearly as well, while covering a wider range of body types than the traditionally boxier Dockers cut. 2. Old Navy knit and jersey dresses. Brands like Anthropologie charge heavily for effortless knit dresses built around a similarly soft jersey fabric. Old Navy's knit dress line uses a comparable stretch jersey while offering a size range far broader than most premium contemporary labels, something shoppers consistently name as the deciding factor over fabric name-dropping alone. 1. Old Navy's kids' clothing line. This is the comparison that draws the strongest reaction from parents specifically, because children's clothing wears out through growth, not fabric failure. Premium children's brands charge a significant markup for organic cotton and durability claims that matter far less when a child outgrows a garment in 4 to 6 months regardless of how well it was made. Old Navy's kids line uses a comparable cotton blend at a price that lets parents replace sizes as often as growth actually demands, without the sting of retiring a barely worn, expensive piece. Here's the pattern underneath all 13. Clothing pricing above a certain threshold stops tracking fabric cost, stitching quality, or factory conditions in any linear way, and starts tracking brand story, packaging, and the retail environment a garment is sold inside. That's not a conspiracy. It's simply how markup works once a label has built enough emotional trust that shoppers stop comparing and start assuming. Lined up side by side, the criteria tell a consistent story. On fabric composition, Old Navy matches or closely approximates the premium alternative in the majority of these categories. On construction durability, across a normal wear cycle, the gap is often smaller than the price difference implies. On fit range and size inclusivity, Old Navy frequently exceeds the premium option outright. On price per wear, once cost is divided by realistic garment lifespan, Old Navy wins in almost every single case on this list. On brand-specific technical claims like specialty insulation ratings or raw selvage processes, premium brands do hold a real, measurable edge, just not one that applies to most everyday use. If there's a single clear winner across these 13 comparisons, it isn't any one item. It's the fitting room test itself, done honestly, without a logo in view. Shoppers who have run these garments side by side blind, without knowing which was which, consistently struggle to justify the price gap once the label was removed from the equation. That surprised even people who went in expecting Old Navy to lose. So here's how to actually use this. Buy from Old Navy if you're replacing basics you'll wear and wash constantly, if your household includes growing kids, or if you want a wider fit range than most premium labels currently offer. Buy from the premium brand if you need a specific technical claim that genuinely matters, like true alpine-grade insulation, or if you're buying a piece meant to last a full decade of hard use rather than a single season. Buy second-hand or last-season premium if you want the brand name specifically and are willing to wait for a price drop that brings it closer to where the comparison actually becomes fair. Off the record, several stylists and menswear and womenswear reviewers who work with both budget And luxury clients have said privately what they rarely put in writing publicly, that a large share of their clients would never guess which garment came from which store in a blind test. One detail that came up more than once, unprompted, is that the biggest visible difference often isn't fabric at all. It's the hanger, the packaging, and the store lighting doing quiet work that has nothing to do with the clothing itself. That's the complete list. 13 categories where Old Navy holds up against labels charging several times more once the logo stops doing the talking. None of this means premium fashion offers nothing real. Better long-term durability at the extreme end, more transparent ethical sourcing, and finer construction details do exist at the top of the market. And for a handful of garments meant to last a decade, that premium is worth paying deliberately. But for the tee you'll wash 40 times, the leggings you'll wear to the store, the pajamas that live in a weekly laundry cycle, the price tag was never really about the fabric in your hands. It was about what you'd already decided that fabric had to be worth before you ever touched it. Next time you're standing in a fitting room holding two nearly identical garments, that's the question worth asking before you reach for the more expensive hanger. If this changed how you'll shop your next closet refresh, tell us in the comments which item on this list surprised you most.